into the action for another day of the week. Welcome to the Thursday edition of Chasing That Paper, presented by VegasInsider.com. Feeling pretty damn good today, despite being up all hours of the goddamn night watching these playoff games. Got a great big show planned for you guys today. Coming off a 2-2 split yesterday, so going to look to improve upon that. But we got picks for every single playoff game that there is tonight across the NBA and the NHL. Also some favorite spots in Major League Baseball. Also going to have our top 5 list of the top 5 athletes that should demand a trade today. Not ask for a trade, not request a trade, demand a trade today. And we're also going to do a mental health check on Ian as a Toronto Maple Leafs fan going into Game 2. So let's bring in Ian. Ian there in New York City. On his best behavior this morning, I might add. Ian showed up on time for our pre-show meeting, wearing a nice shirt today. I anticipate that Ian's going to be trying to get more money out of us here. That is the reason for being on his best behavior. So, Ian, tell us a little bit about your shirt as you look forward to celebrating 420 at the conclusion of the program today.
Well, it's a beautiful day outside here in New York, Joe. Actually, I just looked at the temperature. It's only 12 degrees Celsius, so it's not as warm as it looks, but it's clear skies. The sun is out. Summer's around the corner. You're going to start seeing more of my summer shirts now come out of the wardrobe, and this is one of them.
Yeah.
And these are palm trees on the shirt. But if you kind of squint, they do kind of look like marijuana leaves, so it is a little bit of celebration of 420. Tito took an extra bong rip before the show today here.
Mr. Tito was very eager to rip at the water bong this morning. We have a pre-show meeting, and we can all see each other on camera. Some guy with dreadlocks down to his ass and no shirt walking around Tito's apartment barefoot, stoned out of his mind. We're going to try to keep it professional and save the smoking for after the program here today. All right, so a lot to get into, so let's get into it. Let's get right into that action. We're going to start things off in the NBA in Brooklyn, Game 3, with the 76ers in 10, and I'm going to take those 76ers to cover the spread, -4.5. Let's dig right into this one. So it's been one bad thing or another for the Nets. Really bad things for the first 2 games here. Game 1, they got absolutely killed from three-point land, and they turned the ball over 20 times, and they got outscored by 8 in the final quarter. Game 2, they got out-rebounded by 23, then shot it at just 37.5%, and got outscored by 17 in the second half. They have absolutely nothing for the 76ers. For Philly, I think they can smell blood, and I don't expect them to play with their food. Shades of the 2021 playoffs for the Sixers here. Look back at that. They smacked Washington in games 1 and 2 at home in the first-round series, then go into D.C. for game 3 as a 5-point favorite and beat the living shit out of them by 28 points. For what it's worth, they did beat the living shit out of the Nets in Brooklyn by 29 points back on April 9th. Contributions everywhere for the 76ers. You know you're going to get it from Embiid, but we've also had Tobias Harris chipping in with 20 and 21. Paxson went off in game 2. Harden filled it up in game 1. Brooklyn simply doesn't have the options for that. Give me the Philadelphia 76ers to win by at least 5 points tonight in Brooklyn. All right, Ian, let's hop over to the ice. What are we looking at first?
Yeah, I'm going to live to regret this pick, but let's just rip the Band-Aid off and get it over with. I'm going to go with the Toronto Maple Leafs, my Toronto Maple Leafs, -170 against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, full disclosure, I got this at -160 last night, but I still like it at the current line of -170 because the Leafs did kind of dominate the play in Game 1 when it was 5-on-5. The 5-on-5 expected goals in that game were 2.29 in favor of the Leafs, 1.15 for the Lightning, and they also almost tripled their high-danger scoring chances. The Leafs had 15 5-on-5 high-danger scoring chances. The Lightning only had 6. Now, the key to that is you got to keep it 5-on-5. Toronto needs to stay out of the box, or at the very least, if they do get a couple penalties, tighten up that penalty kill, boys. The Lightning had over 10 minutes of power play ice time in Game 1. That resulted in 4 power play goals. Boys, you can't win with that. But what's going to work out in Toronto's favor a little bit is that the Lightning seem to be down defensemen heading into tonight. Eric Kernack is out. Victor Hedman, game time decision. I would classify him as doubtful myself. That might be running with a 4-man rotation on the back end. Now, let's not focus about how those guys got hurt because we can move on from that. But it's going to be hard to stop this Maple Leafs offense with only 4 defensemen. So give me the Maple Leafs on the money line, minus 170 tonight to even up the series.
All right, back to the court. The Golden State Warriors have their backs up against the wall like never before, and I expect them to respond tonight at home. I'm going to take them to cover the spread of 5.5 points. Of course, they are the favorite, and they are a completely different animal at home. We all know this. They're awful on the road, but great at home. A complete 180. A great bet at home this season as well. 27-13-1 against the spread. A +8 scoring margin at home compared to minus 4.4 on the road. They've been beating up on contenders all season long on their home court. And they beat up on contenders all playoffs long last season on their home court. 9-3 ATS during last season's playoffs at home. 8 separate double-digit wins in those games as well. You dig into the numbers here. How are they going to get there? How are they going to cover this number? I think the three-point shooting will come around and really improve. A little cold from the land beyond the arc in this series, but we all know one of, if not the best, three-point shooting teams in the league. Sacramento, one of the worst three-point defenses in the league. Expect to bounce back. Warriors get back into the series and win by at least 6. Back to the ice. What's next, Ian?
Next up, we're looking at the Colorado Avalanche and the Seattle Kraken game, and I'm actually going to take the Avalanche not only to win, but to win with margin here. I'll take their puck line minus 1.5 at +130 odds against the Kraken. I know the Kraken did pull off the upset for the first ever playoff win in franchise history in Game 1. The Avalanche actually kind of outplayed the Kraken. If you look at expected goals in the game, it was 3.53 in favor of the Avalanche, 2.46 for the Kraken. And in Game 1, I took the under, and it did cash. But I actually didn't see what I expected to see from the Kraken's defense. One thing, like I said earlier, they gave up a lot of scoring chances. The Avalanche should have an expected goals of 3.53, and they gave up a handful of high-danger scoring chances as well. So I'm not going to go back to the under. Thankfully, the under did cash, and the reason why was because Philip Grubauer stood in his head, one of his best performances of the entire season in Game 1. Stopped 34 of 35 shots, but I do not expect to see a repeat performance from Grubauer tonight. This guy had a season-long save percentage of .895. That was one of the worst amongst all starting goalies in the NHL. I think the Avalanche bounce back big at home tonight. I'll take a minus 1.5 at +130.
All right, let's keep rolling. Back to the court we go. Back to the West Coast. Los Angeles Clippers playing host to the Phoenix Suns. Game 3 of this season, all knotted up. It is player prop time. Kawhi Leonard going to take the over on his points, rebounds, and assists. The number set at 41.5. Absolutely love the over on this one. So dig into it. He's been destroying this number in the series so far, averaging 47 points, rebounds, and assists in the series. He's got his hands all over the ball. He cannot be stopped. In 26 career playoff games with the Clippers, he's averaging 43.1 points, rebounds, and assists. What I love about Kawhi in the spot is that he's playing huge minutes. 39 and 42 minutes in the first 2 games. He load manages for a reason. We all hit it during the regular season. I love it now, though. He only played around 33 minutes per game in the regular season. And he is at home where he does shoot much better, especially from 3. Around 5% better from the lane beyond the arc at home compared to the road. Give me Kawhi over 41.5 points, rebounds, and assists. All right, Ian, let's keep rolling. What do we got next? Woo!
Yeah, next hockey game here, we're going to go with an underdog. I'm going to go with the Winnipeg Jets plus 130. Against the Vegas Golden Knights. The Jets not only won on the scoreboard in Game 1, but they dominated the Golden Knights statistically in expected goals. They had the advantage of 3.47 to 2.16 in the first game. They also had the highest Fenwick percentage amongst all teams in Game 1 action across the NHL playoffs at 60%. And part of that was the Vegas Golden Knights offense got completely shut down. Only had a total of 10 high-danger scoring chances all game. That ain't going to get it done, Vegas. And it kind of proves my point that I said before the playoffs start, that the Golden Knights continue to be frauds. They really, I don't think, are that good of a hockey team. Not deserving of a #1 seed in the Western Conference. So I backed the Jets in game 1. I'm going to back them again in game 2. I didn't see anything to change my mind. In fact, I think it kind of game 1 results backed up my opinion. So I will once again take the Winnipeg Jets as underdogs to take a 2-0 series lead back to Winnipeg.
All right, my favorite puck pick of the night. What do you think I'm doing? I'm going with New Jersey. I'm not backing off after losing game 1. Give me the Devils minus 130 at home versus the Rangers. Going to even things up here in this one. So game 1, much closer than that final score indicated. Yeah, I get it. Rangers won 5-1. They took that momentum and ran with it, and were better in the only stat that truly matters, goals scored. But New Jersey did outshoot them. They had more high-danger chances, and they dominated Corsi. Devils also have been pretty good following a loss here lately down the stretch of the regular season, 4-0 after a loss, with one of those W's coming at home versus the Rangers. And they're still the better analytical team. I laid it out prior to game 1, and one loss won't change my opinion. I think this is a good spot to bounce back and even up the series. Getting off to a good start will be imperative for the Devils in this one. Devils minus 130. New Jersey. All right, Ian, over to the Diamond. What do we got?
Yeah, for the record, I will say I'm with you on that one, Joe. I'm on the Devils. I was on Rangers in game 1. I'm taking the Devils tonight. So a little collab bet for the NHL playoffs.
There we go.
New Jersey Devils. All right, my best bet for Major League Baseball tonight is an underdog pick. And I'm fading the San Diego Padres. Give me the Diamondbacks plus 118. I've been fading the Padres early to start the year. It's been profitable for me when I'm doing it, and I think tonight is another good spot. Ryan Nelson faces off against Michael Waka, and I think it's pretty clear that Nelson gives the Diamondbacks the advantage when it comes to starting pitching. He has a 3.71 ERA this season, a 1.176 whip. Waka, 6.06 ERA, 1.469 whip. Also, not only do they have the starting pitching advantage, they have the offensive advantage. Arizona comes into this game 14th in OPS. San Diego comes in 22nd. They also have better OPS numbers against right-handed pitchers, which is important because tonight's a battle of righties. And also, they're averaging 0.98 more runs per game this season than the overvalued San Diego Padres. Now, you might be listening and you might be saying, but Ian, the Padres are getting Fernando Tatis Jr. back tonight. I say, who gives a shit? Yeah. This guy hasn't played since 2021. He's a cheater. He's a scumbag. And you think all of a sudden he's going to come back and make an immediate impact in his first game since 2021? I say no. Give me the Diamondbacks on the money line, plus 118.
Yeah, you're goddamn right, Fernando Tatis. We do not forget and we do not forgive for cheating around here. Chasing that paper. It is a disgrace to the sport.
That is blasphemous.
Baseball. He should be absolutely ashamed of himself. Okay, let's bring it home here. Some late afternoon Major League Baseball action. A bit of a sexy game here. The Angels in New York take on the Yankees. The first 5 total in this one is set at 4.5. Give me the under on this one. Let's get right into it. So nasty Nestor Cortez on the bump here for the Yankees, and he's an absolute beast at home. We backed him in this spot twice at home already here this season. We'll do it again here. He had a 1.95 ERA at home in all of last season. He's allowed 3 earned runs in 2 starts at home this season. He did shut out the Angels in one of their visits to Yankee Stadium last season. 7 innings. Shut out baseball against them. Patrick Sandoval gets the ball here for the Angels. According to Ian, the most underrated pitcher in all of Major League Baseball. Patrick Sandoval, baby. Do we have any Patrick Sandoval fans watching the program today? Yeah, his strikeout numbers won't blow anyone away. Doing a good job of keeping runs off the board. Just 2 total earned runs allowed. 3 starts this season. And this is a really good matchup for him because, surprise, surprise, the Yankees are awful versus left-handed pitching. 25th in OPS versus lefties. Each offense comes into this one cold, ranking 21st and 26th in OPS over the past week. Under 4.5 F5. Angels versus Yankees. Yeah, baby. All right, lots to like today. I also put out a couple picks, pitcher props on my Twitter feed, 2 different walk props and an earned run prop to check them out. So make sure you check out my Twitter feed, JTFOZ. Guys, if you like the show, it's easy to let us know that you do like it. All you got to do is click that like button right down there. While you're at it, hit that subscribe as well. Shout out to the guys in the live chat right now, hacking it up, sharing their favorite leans for the night. Let us know what you like. Hit up the comment section if you're watching the replay and let us know what you are into. And if you're looking to get in on some action tonight, I highly recommend placing that action over at BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Let me tell you a little bit about them. Sign up with BetMGM using the promo code VIBonus and get a first bet offer up to $1,000 paid back in bonus bets if you don't win. That's VIBonus, all one word, no spaces, for a first bet offer of $1,000 paid back in bonus bets if you don't win. Just use that code VIBonus. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. You must be 21 years or older to wager. Offers for new customers. Only BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. All right, let's have a little bit of fun here, Ian. I put together a list, a top 5 list of the top 5 professional athletes that should demand a trade, because that is how sports works now. It's like a video game. These guys, it doesn't matter if you're under contract or not. Demand a trade. Yeah, not ask for a trade, not request a trade, demand a trade. So the top 5 athletes that should demand a trade. Let's start with number 5, Aaron Donald of the Los Angeles Rams. This guy's regarded as one of the best defensive players ever. However, the final years of his career are being completely wasted by a suddenly awful Rams team that fully needs to commit to a rebuild. They were so bad last season, they just simply shut him down. Yeah, he had a bit of an ankle injury, sure, but I'm sure if the team was any good, he would have been out there playing. You know, they trade Jalen Ramsey. I think that's a pretty big sign that they're just throwing in the towel. Aaron Donald's still just 31 years old. He should look to bounce to a contender to close out his career. Number 4 on my list of athletes who should demand a trade, Brandon Ingram of the New Orleans Pelicans. Hey, this is a really good player, but he is a bit of an afterthought there in New Orleans. They're too busy pandering to Zion, who's too busy to even get on the court. But check out Brandon Ingram. 27.3 points per game post All-Star. This is a really good player who should look to improve his situation. Only 2 years left on his deal. This Pelicans team isn't going anywhere as they look to build around Zion, who can't be bothered to get into shape and play in a playing game. Okay, number 3 on my list of athletes who should demand a trade. Josh Jacobs, running back for the Las Vegas Raiders. He will be used, he will be abused, and he will be thrown out in the trash by Josh McDaniel. We know how running backs are treated in this league, and we know the Patriot way when it comes to running back. When he copies everything that Belichick does, when was the last time the Patriots paid a running back? So check out Josh Jacobs here. Last season, he had 340 carries last season. No other Las Vegas running back had more than 20. And like I said, we all know how running backs are treated in this league. They're going to run this guy into the ground before he becomes a free agent. Real risk of injury there. Maybe he doesn't get that big contract. He should look to get out, get traded to a team that can lock him up long term. Number 2 on my list of athletes who should demand a trade. This one is very obvious. Damian Lillard of the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, the past couple seasons, he's been doing a good job of patting himself on the back for not joining a super team and being loyal to the Blazers. But hey, the clock is ticking on his prime, and he's been planting some seeds here, talking about how he's not interested in being part of a rebuild. But the Blazers don't have much of a choice. I think that this is a win-win situation for the Blazers. They're a team that's stuck in the middle. Trade him, embrace the rebuild, build around a guy like Shaedon Sharpe here. The worst place to be in the NBA is in the middle, so he should demand a trade. And number 1 on my list of athletes who should demand a trade today, Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills. Controversial, but here, no, I'm just joking. Number 1 on my list of athletes who should demand a trade today. This is an absolute no-brainer. One of the best players ever in the history of Major League Baseball. It is Mike Trout. Now, Ian, let me ask you, how many at-bats in the playoffs do you think Mike Trout has in his 13-year career in Major League Baseball?
How many at-bats in his postseason career?
Yes.
I think they made it to the playoffs, I want to say once, I think. So then 15.
That's exactly correct.
Oh, really? Unreal.
Yes. I was expecting them to come in, to solidify my point here much better. I was hoping you were going to come in and say like 45, but no, Mike Trout has 15 career at-bats in the playoffs. He's played in 3 playoff games in his 13-year career, and this is a complete and total disgrace that this team has not been able to build a winner around them. The Angels, this isn't the Oakland A's who don't have 2 nickels to rub together. This is absolutely pathetic. Enough is enough. He's given this Angels franchise 13 years of his career. He's still a really, really good player, just 32 years old. Contract will take you up until when he's 38 years old, so there is some risks there, but Trout has got to look to move on. 15 at-bats in the playoffs. He has 13 years in Major League Baseball, but 15 fucking at-bats in the playoffs? That's a complete and total disgrace. Trout should look to move on. Now the report is coming out this morning. They're saying Ohtani will be looking to move on. It's pretty much definite that he will be looking to move on if the Angels fall out of playoff contention. Trout should look to do the exact same. So, Ian, any grievances with my list or any athletes that you would throw on there that should demand a trade today?
I can't get over the fact I guessed that 15 number correct. That was one of the most impressive things I've ever done in my entire life, to be honest.
Bodes well. Bodes well for our picks today.
I know I like your list. I think it's a fair list. You didn't name any hockey players, so I'll toss out a hockey player. And this is just off the top of my head. But how about Juuse Saros, one of the best goaltenders in the NHL, is playing for the shitty Nashville Predators. If they didn't have Juuse Saros, it'd be a bottom 5 team in the NHL. They missed the playoffs. They're kind of in a no man's land where they don't really have a ton of young guys. Like they have no identity to that team. Get Juuse Saros out of there. Put him on a contender, preferably the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I'm thinking a match made in heaven with the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Oh no, get out of here.
That would be a beautiful landing spot for him. I was going to put Derrick Henry on the list. I think that's just too obvious, though. Because he's been rumored to be on the move anyways. But yeah, Damian Lillard, he's got to go. Enough's enough there. They're going to, sometimes when these guys get traded, sometimes it's like a really ugly situation when like James Harden and he looks like an idiot and there's all this bad PR around it. Then sometimes you have situations like when Kevin Garnett got traded from the Timberwolves, or if you might be too young to remember when Ray Bourque got traded from the Bruins to the Avalanche. It's kind of like they put the spin on it about, the team's going to do this guy a solid. He's given this franchise and the city all of his heart. But, and they put this spin on it. So I think that's how you're going to see it work out with Damian Lillard. Everyone will have nice things to say about each other. I guess there's nothing wrong with that. But, some big trades coming up. Hopefully Mike Trout get himself into a winning uniform. I would love to see that. Okay, guys, the Vegas Insider app. Let me tell you a little bit about it before we get into some other topics here. The Vegas Insider app gives you all the major sports betting odds at your fingertips, along with picks and expert breakdowns. You can shop for the best odds, find props, features, and plenty more with the app. Download the Vegas Insider app on Apple or Android. Bet better with the Vegas Insider app. So, Ian, I was thinking of you the other night.
Weird.
Not that I think of you often at night. Sometimes I do, though. And I thought of you when so I didn't catch the start of the game, but I was doing my research for the show. I often do it the night before, and I'll have the scores of the games going on. And I checked the NHL scores, and I see the Maple Leafs in a quick 0-2 hole there to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay goes up 3-0. And I laughed. I couldn't help but laugh because I talked about it. I said it's imperative for the Devils to get off to a good start. The Leafs have the weight of the world on their shoulders, and falling into any sort of hole, it's a disaster. Like if they lose tonight, the series is done.
Yes.
They're already underdogs in the series. I mean, no big shock there. But how sinking was that as a Toronto Maple Leafs fan? You know, the joke is the Leafs fan go into every season. This is our year. There's optimism. You know, they do pretty good during the regular season. And then first game of the playoffs, they come out like that at home. So a bit of a mental health check on yourself and Leafs Nation. How you feeling going into game 2 here?
Yeah, not great, Joe. That was one of the most deflating feelings I've ever had. Yeah, 7 straight first round series exits. 6 of those 7 were in game 7. I guess one of them was game 5 when it was COVID year, so it was a best of 5. But it's tough for the series to start like that. And it wasn't like it was like the Lightning came out and scored 2 really good goals that you just got to kind of give it to them. They were the first period in game 1. They should have Timbits written across their uniform for you non-Canadians kids when they start playing hockey. It's called Timbits hockey. Because they couldn't do anything in their own end. They were coughing it up. They were all collapsing in on the zone. Couldn't get anything going on offense. It was a disgusting first period. Now I will say the bright side is, and this is why earlier when I said that I was on the Leafs, is that they did dominate 5-on-5 play. They came out in the second period. They played much better. They came within a goal. They made it 3-2, but then penalties killed them throughout the rest of the game. I don't care who you play. You're not going to win if you give the other team 10 minutes of power play ice time. So I am cautiously optimistic for tonight. I think we also need better goaltending from Samsonov. He was absolutely terrible. Goaltending is... People talk about how much the Leafs have choked in the playoffs, and rightfully so. But they've not in a single series have they gotten good goaltending from whoever's in net, whether it's Frederik Andersen or Jack Campbell last year or Samsonov the first. Like they just don't get good goaltending in the playoffs. So I am cautiously optimistic for tonight. They are the better team than the Lightning. They just got to keep playing like it.
Yeah, hockey's so much different than these other sports, right? Because you can get dramatically outplayed, but if you have the best goalie, you're probably going to have a better chance of winning. That's why a lot of people like Sesh Turkin in the Rangers Devils series, right? I know he got off to a bad start last year. He looked pretty good in game 1. And like I said, I thought the Devils outplayed them, except for where it matters most. That's goals scored. Okay, so another fun story out of the sports world here, Major League Baseball. Let's weigh in on this. A lot of excitement as it looks like it's pretty much official here. The Oakland A's are moving to Las Vegas. Now, that's still a few years off. So per Front Office Sports here, the Oakland A's have entered an agreement for land in Las Vegas with plans to build a $1 billion, 35,000-seat ballpark. The MLB team has signed a binding deal for 49 acres of land owned by Red Rock Resorts. The Athletics tentatively plan to break ground next year on the $1 billion stadium that will have a partially retractable roof. Opening in 2027, it looks like. So this will bring an end to the disgrace that is the Oakland A's franchise, and it looks like they'll probably finally have some indoor plumbing here, the Oakland A's. So I think this is win for most people, unless you're a hardcore Oakland A's fan who lives in Oakland. You like attending those games. Not a lot of people like attending those games. So kind of people are already kicking around. Are they going to just remain the A's still? Sometimes you'll see a team move cities and they just keep the name. But in most cases, I think that they will rebrand. Remember the Sonics moved to Oklahoma City and became the Thunder. There's a few other examples of that as well. So Ian and I were kind of kicking around potential names pre-show. You know, they can go with the whole gambling angle. And I know the WNBA team is called the Aces. I was thinking maybe the Blackjacks for the baseball team. Or maybe they don't go with the whole gambling angle whatsoever. I kind of like the name The Venom. But I think that's too, like, XFL sounding. What do you think, Ian? A complete rebrand, or do you stick with the name the A's?
I think you could stick with the name the A's because, I don't think you can use Aces because of WNBA, but A's is, an Ace is an A, so you could just stick with the A's. It kind of does work. I always liked the Las Vegas Vipers as a sports name, but now the XFL team is called the Vegas Vipers, so I don't think you can take that either. The Las Vegas Flush for Royal Flush, maybe? No, that kind of sucks.
No, you can't do that because then you're going to have all the toilet puns, right?
That's true. Yeah, you're right. What I do have a question. What happened with the city of Oakland? They lost the Raiders. Now they lost the A's. Is it the city? Is it like there's not enough people? Do they just not go to the
The
games?
facilities have been absolute. The facilities are absolute trash. They've been trying to work with the city forever to build a new stadium. They couldn't get a deal done for the Raiders. Obviously, couldn't get one done for the A's. It's a cement box. And it's tricky, right? Because they want like the taxpayers to pay for it, which I think is total bullshit when you have these billionaire owners who own the team. So the city shouldn't have to pay for a sports stadium when, there's things like fucking hospitals and schools that money should go towards. So yeah, a shit ass ballpark, a shit ass team. They don't want to supply their players with money to get sodas out of the vending machines, for God's sake. So yeah, the fans just didn't care to support them. They said fuck this owner, and the owner said fuck this city, I guess. And it's going to be the same owner too, which kind of makes you wonder. Like, maybe don't be too optimistic, Vegas, about having some sort of winner right away. Like the Moneyball A's. Have you seen the movie Moneyball?
Of course.
So I think I have an unpopular opinion on the movie Moneyball. I think it's complete bullshit, and I think it's totally overrated. It would be different if they won the World Series, for God's sakes. But it was a good movie. Yes, good acting, Brad Pitt, and it's a fun story. But then at the end, you expect it's going to be like, and then they went on to win the World Series. And then they went on to at least make it to the World Series? No, they won one playoff series versus the Yankees. Congratulations. There's upsets all the time in Major League Baseball. You want to make a movie about that? A book, maybe. And then, hey, all their best players, they didn't want to pay them. So they left and made more money elsewhere. And producer Tito agrees. It's. I don't necessarily agree that it's an overrated movie. I think it's an overrated story. It wasn't necessary to make a movie. If they won the World Series, sure. You won one playoff series and you make a goddamn movie? You get these big actors in it? I don't know. What do you think of that take, Ian?
Yeah, no, I agree with that take. Producer Tito says it's an overrated movie. I kind of agree. It's an all right movie. The whole storyline at the end was what? That they went on a win streak?
No, that they won. They won. Well, I think they had like a 19-game win streak. Like it was, yeah, that's impressive, no doubt. And they won against the Yankees, who had the plus $100 million payroll. They won a 5-game series against the Yankees, and you make a movie for that? If you win the World Series, sure, okay. The core of the film is analytics-backed baseball. Yes, Tito,
well, obviously,
understand that.
Yes, yes, we get that. I do get a lot of like clips from the movie showing up on my TikTok feed for some reason. So I've basically rewatched the movie over the past couple of weeks, made solely of TikTok clips.
Yeah, the Oakland A's, the old Moneyball system's not working for them anymore. They need to move to Las Vegas. No state tax, though, apparently. So maybe they will be able to attract some more talent. There, an extra reason for players to join. Yeah, I do look forward. I've been to Vegas in the summer, and sometimes there's not a whole lot to do at night necessarily. You can go out drinking, you can go to a show, but any excuse to go to a ball game at air-conditioned stadium, that would be incredible. Yeah, so Vegas is becoming a big sports town all of a sudden. 5 years ago they didn't even have a team. They'd have the UFC events and stuff like that. Then they get the NHL, the WNBA, of course, the Raiders, now baseball. And now it looks like a couple years down the road, after he retires, LeBron is positioning himself to be an owner of a team, which will most likely be Las Vegas franchise. And I thought about it. It's going to be funny because LeBron will get this franchise in the NBA, and they're probably going to suck right out of the gate like most new teams do. And what will people do? They will make fun of LeBron for that. LeBron's a shitty owner, blah, blah, blah. LeBron can't win. Meanwhile, just completely disregard the fact that Michael Jordan has been an owner of the Charlotte Hornets, who have been one of the worst teams in all of professional sports over the past decade, or throughout his ownership even. No one says anything about that. Nothing sticks to Michael Jordan, does it? I don't know. Michael Jordan, I guess he just avoided the whole social media era.
Correct.
If he was playing when Twitter was around, I'm sure people would have nitpicked them and stuff like that. And
Agree 100%.
Michael Jordan did a media boycott. If you guys watched the Bulls The Last Dance documentary, one of the episodes, one of the themes of one of the episodes was Jordan boycotted the media. Now, if that happened today, if LeBron comes out after losing game 2 last night and says, I'm boycotting the media for the rest of the series, he would get absolutely killed. Everyone calls him a baby. Michael Jordan, though, it's funny. He punches Steve Kerr in the face. He's one hell of a competitor. Really? That's how you're going to spin that? Double standards with the Michael Jordan and LeBron argument, right? It's funny. Actually, we put up a poll in regards to the NBA. Tito, do you have that? Western Conference underdogs. It looks like some of these series can go at least 6-7 games. We actually which Western Conference underdog is the best bet to win their series. So the Warriors, I discussed this yesterday. I think they're going to win tonight, but I don't see a whole lot of value in that plus 140 number. I do think it is disrespectful to the Sacramento Kings, who were the better team throughout the regular season. Still 2 games left for them. Clippers plus 225, Grizzlies plus 130. I think the Clippers, the team with the highest odds, are the best bet. That's who I would go for. I kind of talked about after game 1, which the Clippers won. People forget that Kevin Durant's only played, 12 games for the Suns? Not very high leverage situations for most of them, too. Listen to Bill Simmons yesterday. He says a bit of a new guy stench to, I don't think he used the word stench, but a new guy feel to Kevin Durant in that lineup still. Not a lot of continuity there. So I wouldn't be surprised the way Kawhi's playing. The Clippers upset them and win that one. Ian, how you feeling about your Knicks here going into game 3 tomorrow night?
Feeling good. Stole one on the road. That's all we had to do. We bring it back to the Garden. I think we're in a good spot. I think my 150-1 New York Knicks ticket is looking pretty good. We got a path. Hey, maybe if the Heat upset the Bucks, who knows, man? Things could get crazy in the East.
Yeah, the New York Knicks. Yeah, the NBA playoffs are fun. These games start way too goddamn late, though.
I haven't watched a second of the entire NBA playoffs.
Yeah, I watched that Lakers-Grizzlies game yesterday. It's kind of funny. We talked about the situation before when the star player gets announced as out, and you would think that, that would severely hurt them. We saw 2 instances of it last night. Ja Morant out. Grizzlies go on to win. Not easily, but they pulled away pretty good at the end. And the Bucks, Giannis out. They beat the fuck out of the Miami Heat there last night. Now, who knows? A lot of people talking about Draymond Green. He doesn't really show up on the score sheet. I get that, but he is a really good defensive player. People talking about how that could impact the Warriors. So the missing star theory, we'll see how that plays out in the Warriors game tonight at home, where they are much better. Okay, guys, it is now time for today's Handicapper Heat Check, presented by VegasInsider.com, your home for the best expert picks in the business since 1997. BI expert Steven Nover caught fire yesterday with a perfect 8-0 all sports record. Steven Nover, 8-0, baby. Ray Monahan is heating up, 4-0 MLB run and 5-0 NBA over his last 5 days. And Tim Michael hit 5 straight MLB winners and is on a 20-5 NHL streak. Visit VegasInsider.com/picks for early MLB bets plus NBA and NHL action. That's your Handicapper Heat Check. Stay hot, betters. All right, Ian, what do we got this afternoon? You going out for a run, get a little workout in, catch a little sun? What's the plan here?
I am going for a run. I'm actually off today, so I'm going to go for a run, run a couple errands. That's just about it. I don't really have anything to promote. I already gave out my NHL picks. If you want to read the written version of my NHL picks, you can find those over at Fansided. Follow me on Twitter at Iain MacBets.
And subscribe to your YouTube channel, right?
Yes. Bacon Bets Podcast.
YouTube. And I, too, will be working out, exercising this afternoon, Ian. I'm going to lift some weights.
Nice.
Chest. Buys, tries.
Buys and tries.
Shoulder. I do an upper body. That's how I split her up, baby. All right, that's it. For today, Ian will be right back tomorrow. Probably a similar show to today, covering NBA, NHL playoffs, Major League Baseball. We'll find something fun to kick around in the second half of the show. So we thank Ian for joining us. We thank producer Tito, who's eager to start celebrating 420 here momentarily. So thank you to Tito for producing. Thank you, dear viewer, for checking us out tonight. Best of bets with your luck, with your bets tonight, unless you were fading us. And as always, keep chasing that paper.